Delighted to say Jake Davis joins us live on the show right now. Jake, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. We just saw that cracking goal you scored against Austin FC last season. Was that the best goal you've ever scored in your career?
It's a good question. I think last year I scored a couple good ones. I think probably that is my best. But the one I scored at home against Orlando City, honestly, I think that's my best because it had a little bit of everything. It had I won the ball back, I beat a couple guys on the dribble, and then I finished with my weak foot. So I thought that was definitely.
What was the feeling when that ball hit the back of the net? Do you kind of? I've never been in that situation. Never been a professional footballer. I've scored goals on the park a few times when I was a kid, but nothing quite like that. What did it feel like? Do you feel like you've kind of finally made it?
Yeah, I mean honestly, it's so hard to describe. Obviously I've been at Kansas City since I was 15, so obviously, I've been playing here for a while, but when I first moved there, I would just go to the games to watch. And so I would see all these guys score, all the legends, and for me to actually do that in the stadium, on the field, it's definitely a moment where you're just fired up with all the emotions, and then when the game's done after, you really take a second and think like, wow, I did that. And so it's really special to me.
Now, anyone who's having any conversation with anyone at work today is probably talking about the Super Bowl. Now, you grew up in Michigan, but you moved to the Kansas City Academy when you were 15 years old. Did you take on the Chiefs? And what has the conversation been around the Kansas Cityans today with the real struggle that Patrick Mahomes had on Sunday?
I mean, there's been a lot of talk. Everyone's kind of, I feel like they've been criticizing a lot, but I mean, this guy's won 3 Super Bowls. I mean, I don't know how much you can really criticize. He lost yesterday, and that's unlucky, but the guy's won 3. So, I mean, I don't know. I have no criticism for that, to be honest.
He's also a part owner of Sporting Kansas City, so probably best not to anger the boss. But just kind of getting back to things with you, you guys are out at the Coachella Valley Invitational right now. That event has really grown. It used to be a few teams that go out there and play preseason, and now there's more than a dozen teams that are out there playing preseason. Can you just kind of describe what it's like to get ready for the season in maybe a different environment than you would expect? It's an area most known for music festivals, so can you just tell us a bit about what it's like?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think in years past we would have gone to Scottsdale where some of the teams went, and for the last 2 years now we've gone to Miami. And so obviously we've had quality opponents to help us prepare for the season. But I think being here is a bit different. Not just the opponents we're facing, are good, but the circumstances, the environment, the facilities, and the hospitalities make it a lot easier on us to prepare, and it makes trainings and games go a lot more smooth. And I think that's important, because it gives us the best chance to prepare well for the season. So, yeah, it's definitely a step up.
Jake, you mentioned the upcoming season there. What are the goals and aspirations for you individually and as a group?
Individually, I'd say, there's a lot you can say. I can sit here and say I want to score more goals and have assists. And I think, of course, my ambition is to do that. But I think the first thing that comes to my mind is to be a guy on the field that's giving his hardest and giving 100% every game, and trying to be the best teammate for my teammates. And I think if, individually for me and also our team together, if we have this attitude of giving 100% and I said this before, like doing the dirty yards for each other and really running and working for each other, I think we're going to set ourselves up to have a good season.
And Jake, when you look at last season, it probably was the best of your career, certainly from an output standpoint. You're not playing with the twos anymore. You're part of this first team. Can you just describe what that step up is like for you, and also that maybe change in role is starting as a right back, but often playing in central midfield as well? Which position do you think you'll end up in this season?
I think for now, I've been playing right back, and so I think I'm very comfortable there. And yeah, still a lot of work to do. I just think coming from the twos and then moving up, I think I had to put in a lot of hard work and had to wait for my opportunity. And I think it's special how I've kind of gotten to where I am now. But the most important thing I always keep in the back of my head is kind of the same mentality I had when I was grinding for the opportunity in the first place. Just keeping my head down, doing the work. And when we show up to training, I'm trying to get better and help my teammates get better. And when the game comes on the weekend, if I'm in the 11, then I'm giving my hardest and giving my best. And that's kind of how I want to carry going forward.
Jake, when we look at the roster, a lot of the older players, some of the veterans have kind of moved on. Do you feel that you need to step up and take on kind of a leadership role in the team for this next season?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of one of the things that's been on my mind, and I don't want to say the wrong words here, but I think just some of the experience I've gotten in the last 2 years, and especially some of the guys I've been around, they've given me, the tools and the lessons, I guess, to know what I have to do for this team. And especially now, like you said, there's a lot of older guys out of the team, and there's people with less experience. And I think the last 2 years have been important for me, and I think now, the new step for me and the new challenge is trying to help my teammates and trying to be a leader on the field and off the field. And I think I've been the young guy on the team for the last 2 years, and obviously now is a new phase where I have to take more responsibility.
How does coming through the club's academy change that perspective in your mind when you look at how realistically this is the only sport in which this happens? You don't see an NBA player come through the youth setup of the Houston Rockets and then go play for the first team. When you kind of look at your history as a player coming through the club and eventually growing into this role, how does that leadership combine with the fact that you kind of know what it is to be a sporting player?
Yeah, I know. That's a good question. I think that's important. I think now that I'm taking on new responsibilities, I think it works hand in hand because I've been a part of this club for so long, since 2017. And so obviously when you talk about responsibilities and being a leader, sometimes the first thing that comes to your head is someone that's a bit older with a lot more experience. But I think, one of the things I have on my side is that I've been a part of this club at all levels. And I think I can, it's not saying use that to my advantage, but just using my experiences at all the levels and dealing with different guys and trying to be a good teammate and trying to be a leader. And, I think I'm grateful that I've been a part of this club for so long. And I think that all the things I've seen through my process, it can help me become a better leader this year and take on more responsibility.
Jake, to that point, I look back in your history. You obviously left home. You're from Michigan originally. You moved when you were 15 years of age over to play for Sporting Kansas City in the academy. You lived with a host family. Obviously, that is a bold step for a young man of 15 years of age to do. Are you still close to that host family? Just tell us about how much of an impact they had on your career and what that process was like, leaving your family to kind of pursue your dream.
Yeah, obviously it's a coin toss. It could have gone any way. I'm taking a chance, moving to a state that I've never been to, and I'm living with a family I've never met. And so I think they've definitely, when I lived there, they made my living situation and everything I had to do every day, they gave me the best chance to succeed. And they really took me in, and it wasn't like a standoff thing where I would just go home and go to my room. I was a part of their family, and I'm very grateful for them because obviously without them, I don't know if I would have had a place to stay, and it would have made things really complicated for my real family. And so they made a big impact on my academy process and from when I was starting to move into the second team.
Shout them out, Jake. What's their name? Let's say thank you.
This is Julie Hodges. I'm very grateful for you guys. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And you hear sometimes, I think, we see the glory that professional footballers take on as, scoring great goals like Jake did against Austin. But the difficulties along the way, the sacrifices you have to make, I think, are a big part of it. If I may transition back to the team and playing, really the big move that Sporting have made in this offseason is to bring in Dejan Jovic, the top goal scorer from the LA Galaxy championship side in Major League Soccer, as a right back, thinking about providing service. What is the thought process of integrating the new striker been?
Yeah, I'm a good guy, really good player. Obviously, we've played against him a bunch, and he's got a really good attitude coming into this team, and he's a winner. He wants to come in and compete, and I think that's what we also need at our club. We need guys with experience in the league that want to come here and are determined to be better and help us win games. And coming from where I play right back, I know he's hungry to score goals, and I think I'm going to use that to help myself too. He's hungry to score goals. I want to provide, and I think going into the season, I'll be definitely looking for him in the box. That's what I can say.
Absolutely, Jake. Great stuff. Thanks so much for joining us here on Scoreline, and good luck for the new season. We'll be watching.
Thank you, guys.